What's up, guys? Zeus here, back with another video, a couple days late, but we are finally going to be taking a look and breaking down all of the balance changes that are coming in the game as of the June 6th live stream that happened at 6 in the fucking morning that I was definitely not awake for because your boy was tired as all hell. Now, I know I've been slacking on the recording, so I am going on a mass recording spree, so this is like video one of video one of the session. I'm gonna have I want to finish today off, get a calm low like 4 videos done by today to have those set for upload over the course of the next week or whatnot, because I don't want to leave you guys out on a content drought, as I say. So yeah, we're gonna just break down all the balance changes, and I'm gonna give you just all my thoughts and whatnot. And I am doing this kind of in a weird order because I am gonna go on my rants about characters like I normally do when it comes to these things. So yeah, just prepare for that, because this video might turn into a long one slash discussion, or I might just turn it into a discussion video, an entirely different video altogether. Who knows? Oh my god, bro. Tangent, but like the blueberry pomegranate acai vitamin water, that shit is so good. Like, it is so delicious. Leave down your favorite vitamin water flavor in the comment section below. Alright, that being said, yap aside, let's get started off. So we're starting off first off with combat point adjustments. So this is for rank. This is for rank specific. So for rank points, survivors now gain 1 additional rank point for both victory and draws in matches. So that means now the most amount of points you can get for a survivor rank match, I think, is without the PC boost plus 14 instead of plus 13 if it's a 4 escape. So that's something, that's 1 extra point over time. Yeah, we take those. Hunters now gain 1 additional rank point for defeat in ranked matches. Interesting. Okay. So that means now instead of like for a hunter, you would lose like minus, I think on average it's like -5 you lose when you get a loss. So now it would only be -4 on average. So that's not bad either for the hunters. It's fine. When losing a ranked match, the rank point bonus for device performance differences is reduced to 1. Huh? When losing a ranked match, the rank point bonus for a device performance difference is reduced. So is that like the cross-platform bonus? I'm assuming that because it says device performance difference. So that means cross-platform will now only give you +1. I guess there was a thing where it would give you more than +1, so maybe that's what that was for. But yeah. The maximum points awarded for a loss or draw in solo ranked has been adjusted to +2. So that you can get up to 2 points even if you lose if you're in solo queue. Wow. Do your jobs, kids. Do your jobs. So they're really making it now for survivors that you can, unfortunately, you can lose your way to Titan, technically speaking, plus getting +2, +2, +2, +2, +2. It's gonna take you a really long fucking time, but yeah. Now for combat bonuses. So the combat bonuses are the points that you get inside of the game itself, from whether it's like opening a chest, decoding a cipher, rescuing, etc., along with just like interactions and shit in the game and how games work. So like when dungeon it like spawns, for example, when 2 ciphers pop. All right, the bonus for survivors obtaining items from chests has been reduced to 50. I mean, I guess, sure. The bonus for survivors inputting the password to open exit gate has been reduced to 200. Again, sure. When the mechanic and the mechanics doll decode at the same time, decoding bonuses will no longer be counted twice. Huh, so they're adjusting deduction point a lot. For those of you that don't know, your deduction points average out to how many points you get per match. So like let's say you get something like if you get minimal deduction points, like let's say you get like 9k deduction points, you're probably going to get like a +9 in that match on average. Like typically speaking, that's how it should work. Sometimes it still doesn't work like that. That's typically how it goes. Hopefully you guys also can't hear my Discord fucking ringing its ass off, so might just put this on D&D real quick. But yeah, so that's typically how deduction points. So they're reducing little deduction shits, which is whatever. Like gate opening and chest opening, like it's not the biggest deal in the world. If it was like hiding or some shit or like decoding, then there would be a problem in my eyes. But gate opening and whatever. Like you barely do those shits regardless. When a hunter repeatedly attacks a survivor on rocket chair with no other survivors nearby, the survivor will be immobilized for an extended duration. No fucking way. So the word immobilized here just means that there's gonna be longer chair timer. So if a hunter is just hitting a chair, um, while no survivors within, I'm assuming the tinnitus range, I'm assuming that's gonna be their metric, for the classification of no survivors nearby, the chair timer is gonna be longer. Now, this is good and quote unquote bad. I say quote unquote bad because there are hunters that could take advantage of that, i.e. Ivy being the most prominent one, because technically speaking, now there could be tech with Ivy where she willingly hits the chair endlessly to stall out the chair timer while she patrols around with the yift to try and find the final survivor, assuming it's a two-man endgame. Like, so, like, niche situations like that. But for the most part, it's good because obviously, the little annoying hunters that want to just keep spam hitting a chair every 2 seconds. Like, all right, yeah, keep hitting my chair. Like, go for it. You're wasting more time for yourself. This is more cipher progress. This is more decoding. If they have sadism at that, they're hindering their own build. So it's whatever. Next up, in ranked matches with tier 7 or higher survivor players, player nicknames during matchmaking will be hidden. Oh, okay. All right. So this is overall, this is a healthy change. This is a healthy change. I know people are gonna look at this because we all obviously we have the bad randoms in high tier, like quote unquote like high tier. We have our notorious bad randoms and whatnot, but this is still a healthy change. Like overall, because what this is for Koa season specifically. Because during Koa season, you have cases where some people would throw other teams' matches in order to make them lose their Abyss matches. So this is good because now you don't know who you're getting matched with until, I guess, quote unquote, inside the game. So you can't throw picks, like you can't, like, if you get someone, like, let's say you're competing for Koa and you're like team number, like for example, like you're team number 9 and then the other team that you got matched with is team number 8. You won't know that until you're inside the game. But if you're in pre-lobby, you're not going to be able to just be like, that's the 8th team. All right, I'm gonna pick, like, no build Mind's Eye, for example, or some shit like that. So overall it's pretty healthy. It's a pretty healthy change. That's a net positive for the game. In classic mode, survivors can initiate surrender 240 seconds after the match starts if only one free moving survivor remains. Sure, that's fine. Next up, the final deduction phase begins when only two survivors remain. I was about to say ciphers. Starting 30 seconds into a match, so when they say into the match, that's, into the final deduction phase, both survivors and hunters will reveal their positions for 5 seconds every 30 seconds. This exposure stops once the exit gate is activated. So when they say activated, I'm assuming they mean open, specifically. That's when they mean it ends, when it's open, not when you touch it and you get progress. Like, activated meaning open. Huh. So every 30 seconds, i.e. back to what I was saying earlier with the chair hitting shit with Ivy specifically. Oh, okay, well, yeah. That's gonna be funny. Survivor elimination speed when knocked down is increased by 200%? And with an additional 25% elimination progress added each time they're knocked down. Oh my god, they're getting rid of slug tech. They want to get rid of slugging in ranked and even in tourney. Holy shit. Dreamwitch slug tech, goodbye. Holy shit, Gamekeeper slug tech, goodbye. Okay, this is overall a net positive for the state of the game. Because I think we all get bored when we're watching tournament matches and the hunters decide to go on a totally not a 25-minute clerk slugfest match on Lakeside Village. I think we all get bored of that shit pretty fucking easily. So this is an overall net positive for the game. I just wonder how this shit is gonna work with Percy. I'm gonna be dead ass. Like, I genuinely want to know how the final deduction phase on that Survivor elim speed, I want to know how that's gonna stack with Percy. Like, that's actually the funniest thing ever. I'm gonna be so real. I want to see that. Oh, okay. I'm not against that. I'm not against that. That's not bad. It's a net positive for the game. All right. Next up, we have character balance adjustments. So now this is where we're gonna start getting into my my rant, my little mini rants about it. So we got character balance adjustments for 5 characters, being Naiad, Enchantress, Archer, Pharaoh, and Meteorologist. Okay, so starting up with the infamous weak Naiad. Before unlocking Tier 2, humidity gained from closing the abyss and surging tide hits increased from 30 to 35%. Billowing waves now also reduces harpoon retrieval time. Humidity increase rate in the basement reduced to 6%. Oh, okay, so they buffed and nerfed her. So they nerfed their basement camp just a tad bit, which is fine. I'm okay with that because, Naiads love to just giant claw their way to fucking basement and cheese their way to draws and wins like that. So I'm all for nerfing that bullshit. Uh, Billowing waves now has reduced harpoon retrieval time, so that just means the harpoon comes back faster. And then, of course, when you pull back the harpoon to connect the abyss, now the survivors, if they're in it, will gain 35% moisture instead of 30%. Same thing when she's getting hit with when you're getting hit with the dash. Fine, that's fine. Like they didn't do much. They just gave her like micro buffs, I'm okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a nice way to buff a character without fucking making them upset the balance of the game. Oh yeah, holy shit. Ugh. Okay. Next up, Enchantress. Enchantress starts with 1 stack of guard. I think that was the most obvious buff of them all, and I'm okay with this. Guard accumulation speed is reduced by 25% when near a hunt. Wait, what? Reduced by 25% when near a hunter. So now when she's building, she builds it up 25% slower. So that just means now it takes 20 seconds for her to get 1 stack instead of like, what, 15? Was it 10 or 15? It was 10 or 15. One of the two. I don't remember off the top of my head. Truthfully speaking, I do not. I will just have to go on to IDV and check that real quick. All I know is that it was like a minimum, I think like around 10 seconds. If not, then I'm just horribly mistaken because I don't play Enchantress enough to fucking remember that shit. Because it varies on the distance and how close you are to the hunter. So like if you're like right next up to the hunter, that shit will build up instantaneously. But if you're kiting, you're keeping your distance, it it's not gonna build up as fast. You guys get what I mean? You guys get what I mean? Yeah, you guys understand. Let me see this. No, it doesn't say anything about how long it takes. It does not say anything about how long it takes, huh? Nope. No, it does not. It's just, it's relative to distance. Well then, I guess we'll just have to eyeball that. But that is still a net negative for her. Ah, okay. Maximum reduction in guard accumulation speed from additional guard stacks lowered from 77 to 66. Okay, that's a buff. That is a buff. That is a buff. Maximum reduction in guard accumulation speed. So that means that the slowest the guard can build up is minus 66 instead of minus 77, which is fine. And then initial guard stacks no longer reduce accumulation speed by 11%. Okay, that's fine. Survivors under Blessing can provide up to 3 guard stacks to Enchantress. 5 in Duo Hunters. In matches with Dream Witch or Duo Hunters, multiple hunters share guard stat. That's huge. That's fucking huge. That's actually the best part of the buff. Holy shit. That's the best part of the buff. I'm surprised people haven't mentioned that, actually. Everyone's been hyper fixated on the fact that like guard accumulation is reduced by 25% and Enchantress stat starts off with 1. No, I have not heard anyone mention this. This is huge. This is big. Like this is huge. One of Enchantress's main weaknesses and gimmicks was that any hunters that have like multiple working mechanisms, i.e. Dream Witch, or if you're in duos, for example, they don't share the stacks. Now that they share the stacks, those hunters don't have an effective way to deal with Enchantress, not as easily. So that means now Dream Witch specifically doesn't counter Enchantress now. That's great. That's amazing. That's actually amazing. That was great. The only other thing though is that this is a nerf though. The survivors under blessing. I'm looking in IDV because I don't remember off the top of my head. But in-game description, you know, survivors healing the enchantress or getting healed by the enchantress will gain enchantress blessings. When a hunter inflicts damage on a survivor that has an enchantress blessing, the enchantress will also gain a stack of guard for a guard effect. That beforehand used to be unlimited. That used to be unlimited stacks. Now it's only 3 per survivor. So I now am now I'm curious to see if this is unlimited, as in like, you know, like this is 3 per game, or this is 3 per blessing. Like, so that means, you know, a survivor gets hit 3 times, they use up their 3 stacks that they can give the enchantress, and then the enchantress heals them again. Does that reset it or not? That's what that's what I want to know now. Still, all in all, enchantress, this is overall this is net positive for her character. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Next up, yay. Ha 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 ha. Archer. Archer, great. If the survivor's within 18 meters of the hunter, keep in mind she only has about a 9-meter range, the rate of which the laceration damage decreases while the hunter is stationary is increased by 35%. Keel bow and crossbow cooldown increased from 12 to 14 seconds. So, the support character, the ranged support character, can no longer support, practically. Because on top of already how fast the laceration dissipates, the laceration is now gonna dissipate even faster by 35% if there's another survivor that's within the area, within 18 meters at that. Archer has like a 9 to 12 meter range at best, so it's like when she's supporting, she's always gonna be within the range of another survivor. So in other words, supporting with her is practically dead. Huh. It's practically dead. Why did they nerf her? I don't know. Like I don't understand the logic between like nerfing Archer. Like Archer is like her harassment and her support is just so easily dealt with if you just understand that you can't be a dickhead about her support and ignore it and act like it doesn't exist. Like, it's a common trend that I see with hunters where they don't respect the abilities of certain survivors, and then when they get punished by the survivors, then they complain about, oh, the survivor's broken. Or, you know, they play a 6-year-old character into the character that came out 3 months ago, and then when the character that came out 3 months ago works the 6-year-old character, they get a rose-tinted view of, you know, how strong the character is when the character that's released is meant for the meta, not for the 6-year-old character. This is what, like, I don't understand why she's being nerfed. Like, she can already barely handle the meta as it is, you know? Especially after her previous nerfs. If they're gonna do this, then I don't see the purpose in her having that, like, that like, slowdown shit that she gets when she gets out of heartbeat. Like, I don't see the purpose in it. Like, why? Like, you just effectively gutted her support utility damn near entirely. Her kiting is still gonna be, I guess, good. That's fine. But her whole character is supposed to be a support character. She's supposed to be a support kiter, and she can't even do her own job properly now. Like, genuinely, she can't. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why we're doing this. Look, I'm convinced someone at netease just has a skill issue against Archer. Like, genuinely, I'm convinced. Next up, we got Pharaoh Lady. While cloaked, the hunter can no longer hear Pharaoh Lady voice lines or sound effects. She's gonna be a gimmick. Yeah. The cloak cooldown timer will not only pause when Pharaoh Lady is placed on rocket chair. Thank you. It will no longer pause when she's incapacitated or knocked down. Thank you. When using Dexterous to designate a cipher machine, if Pharaoh Lady decodes a different cipher machine, the designated cipher machine's decoding progress will decrease by 0.7% per second. Huh. I guess that just like that's her decoding thing. So now it doesn't take away a percent of the cipher per second. It only takes away 0.7% of a cipher per second, so that is a buff to her decoding, actually. And then if Cloak is on cooldown and Pharaoh Lady uses Aromatherapy Cane, Cloak's cooldown is immediately reduced by 10 seconds? Oh, wow. Huh. That sounds great in concept, but, like, in actuality, like, where are you going to find that useful? Because, like, if you throw it, and then, you know, your aromatherapy, your cloaking state activates, right? You already threw your cane. You know? You already threw the cane, so it's like, what are you gonna do exactly? Like, you know, like you can't exactly mind game that. Like, what are you gonna do? Uh, but Pharaoh Lady is gonna be just cheese, just straight up cheese for 15 seconds. Like every 50 seconds for 15 seconds, she's gonna be a straight fucking cheese character. Cause now you just can't hear her. Like you can't hear her at all. So yeah, for 15 seconds, every 50 seconds, she's just a fucking walking gimmick. Next up, Meteor. Gale's control duration when pushing the hunters into obstacles is affected by rage, desperate fight, addiction, and peddler's metal affinity. Okay, I was under the assumption it already was, but that's fine, I guess. Sure, whatever. It is a, you know, a control state, I guess. Stratus durability consumption increased to 50 to 60. Whoa, I'm sorry, I just got a hiccup there. That 50 to 60 for Stratus. Water. Okay. So, you mean to tell me that when I use my cloud, it doesn't matter how I use my cloud. The cloud is just a guaranteed 50% to 60%. Okay. Rainfall durability consumption increased to 50%. Okay, so same thing with the rain. So in other words, you literally only have 2 uses of bottle unless you're using the wind, the pushback. That's literally it. You only have 2 uses of bottle otherwise. Huh. Huh. So again, like, what's the purpose of these characters? Like, genuinely, like, what's the purpose? Like, I don't understand. Like, Wendy didn't need a nerf either. She genuinely did not need a nerf. Like, she was fine. She's already performing mediocrely in IVL, IJL. Like, that's it. Like, she's already had like a nothing burger performance practically over the course of 4 days of gameplay on both regions. Like, CN is slightly banning her more than Japan, but even then, like, it's still a small number of bans for it to even be considered relevant. It's like, you know, it's comparing like 3 bans to 5 bans over the course of like 4 or 5 days, you know? So it's like, well, what you gonna do? Yeah, I don't know, man. Alright, and now that we're done with character balance adjustments, we're gonna get to the biggest thing of all time. I did this weird, but I wanted to do it like this. Persona! Woo! Now, I actually have IDV open for this because I tried doing this on stream the other day, and the IdentityV wiki is just so fucking horrendously, like, laggy that I couldn't actually do anything. So I have IDV opened up on my phone so I can cross-reference what changes and what doesn't change. So, starting off first, so for both survivors and hunters, talent points are going to be increased from 130, and 4 additional talent nodes are going to be added to each side. I personally would have liked 140, but hey, you know, 130 is easing it. I think 140 would have been nice, though, to be honest, considering how many changes and how many things they're adding on both ends. So, next up, we have the first talent that's being adjusted, being no survivors. Within 25 meters of a knockdown survivor, each free-moving survivor increases the hunter's attack recovery speed by 10%, stacking up to 3 times. This is just a change from 8%, so it's a 2% increase. Fine, whatever. Next up, we have Giant Claw. Giant Claw. Survivors tied to balloons have their struggling speed reduced by 5, 10, and 15%, and when a survivor breaks free from a balloon, all survivors' decoding speed is reduced by 10, 15, and 20% for 10 seconds. So this is a change from the struggling effect by survivors tied to balloons is reduced by 25, 50, and 75%, and the struggling speed by 5, 10, and 15. So there's a distinction between effect and speed. The effect is the shaking shit that the survivors do. Like how, you know how when a survivor is struggling, if you play Hunter, you shift from left to right? That is the effect. They removed that, but the reduction of the speed is still the same. Because I've seen already some comments saying that this is a nerf. This is not a nerf. This is not a nerf to Giant Claw. What they effectively did is they turned Giant Claw into a anti-Cypher Rush mechanic. Because if the survivor breaks free, and if you have max Giant Claw, which is semi-common, all survivors' decoding speed is now reduced by 20% for 10 seconds. At maximum. 10% being the minimum, and 10% is still a pretty, you know, big deal when it comes to negative debuffs. So them punishing survivors from breaking free, I guess, is a way to be like, well, the survivor struggled free, so like, aside from the fact that, I don't know how the fuck a survivor can struggle free when the hunter has max fucking giant claw, unless the hunter is literally just like walking without a destination in mind. Like, let's reward the hunter in some way by giving them, a little bit of a chance, I guess, for 10 seconds to try and bring it back. But like still, like I don't see, because like why punish the entire survivor team for 10 seconds? Like why? Like why do that? That's already a hunter error in itself to not chair where you need to chair. Like I don't understand. Like 20 up to 20% is insane to me. Like genuinely it is. I'm sorry, like I don't know, like if a hunter is letting a survivor struggle out with max giant claw, you have to just be like greeting at the absolute fuck out. You genuinely must be greeting the absolute fuck out. Like I'm talking, you tried cheering from small boat all the way to fucking shore or some shit. Like that level of fucking greed. Like genuinely, like I don't know how the fuck that happens. Next up, hunt. After pursuing a survivor for 11, 9, and 7 seconds, you gain a 10% increase to both movement speed and obstacle vaulting speed. This bonus is lost if the pursuit fails or if the hunter interacts, attacks, uses an ability, or is controlled. So this is a change from the following. They still receive a 10% movement speed. However, it was after 12, 10, and 8 seconds, and it was only for movement. It was not for interaction slash obstacle vaulting speed specifically, which means pallet breaking still does, will cancel out hunt, but vaulting windows now will not cancel out hunt. So that means Dream Witch, Hellember, characters that rely on hunt, they just got soft buffed, they got pseudo buffed. Hellember indirectly received the buff with this. Not only did they decrease the time it takes to proc by 1 second at all levels, they also made it so now you can, even if you vault windows, it doesn't cancel out your hunt. So you're still moving at that crazy ass fucking speed. Why? Again, I mean, this is gonna be a pain in the fucking ass because Dream Witch is already gonna be moving fast as shit regardless. So now the leech is gonna be moving even faster. Like, it's gonna be horrible, man. This is definitely gonna be a very annoying trait to deal with. It's not going to be the worst thing ever, but it's just going to be a nuisance, It's going to be a very annoying thing. Ivy is going to be able to take advantage of this so well. Like she's going to take advantage of this to hell and back, man. Next drop, claustrophobia. Claustrophobia. If there are 4/3 active survivors in rocket chairs being ballooned or knocked down are considered inactive. Within 20 seconds after the exit gate is activated, exit gates open 70% and 15% slower. So beforehand, it was just if there are 4 active survivors, within 20 seconds after the exit gate has been activated, it opens 70% slower. So they just they made it so if there's a 3-man end game or some shit, you still have claustrophobia a little bit. So the 15% just makes everyone like a pseudo acrobat slash antiquarian because they have a 30% gate opening debuff, and so they're just getting half of that, which means instead of 20 seconds it's gonna take like 25, 26-ish, maybe somewhere around there. Maybe like 24 actually. Yeah, fuck. Actually, no, because what is it? It's 30%, 20 by 2, 26. Yeah, it takes 26 seconds, and so it's only gonna be 23 seconds. 23 seconds, I believe. 23 seconds to open up the exit gate with a 3-man claustrophobia active, the 15% debuff. Also, they use the word activated here, and when I was talking about the activation shit earlier, I thought that would only be when the gates are open, but I guess they're using it interchangeably. But if they are, that makes things really confusing now. Because then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the final deduction phase, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe the translations. It's not a maybe. The translations are probably really fucking botched. Next up, Street Sweeper. Reveals survivors who are healing or being healed within 32 meters and reduces their healing speed by 25, 40, and 55 fucking percent. Now, beforehand, this would only reveal the survivors. This would only reveal survivors who are healing or being healed within 20, 26, and 32. So the 32 meters is now just permanent. That is it. 32 meters used to be the max that you could get from Street Sweeper. Now 32 is the base, and the level up part of Street Sweeper is the decrease in healing speed, being 25, 40, and 55. So when you bring Street Sweeper, you'll be able to see survivors who are being healed within 32 meters and reduce their healing speed within that 32 meter range by 25, 40, and 55. Yeah, being able to see survivor heal from 32 meters away is quite insane. A little bit, I guess, depending on the hunter that you're playing. It is it's gonna be really good for fucking photo. It's gonna be really good for fucking photo. Oh, great, yeah, photo, yeah, love that. Next up, After Effects reduces the self-healing limit of incapacitated survivors by 10, 20, and 30, and their self-healing by 10, 15, and 20. So After Effects before just only capped their self-heal limit. So, you know, 6 by 20 by 10, 20, and 30. So, you know, having the 60% self-heal, not 70%, 80%, you guys get the gist. You know how this goes already. So that's how After Effects used to work. Now it gives a self-healing speed reduction as well. Next up, Collapse. Now, Collapse is something that is not currently on the Persona tree. I'm pretty sure it's getting reduced by what's getting it's replacing something. What it's replacing, I don't fucking know. I tried like figuring this shit out. I genuinely don't know. So yeah. Collapse increases the self-healing time for injured survivors after being hit by a normal attack, excluding self-healing while knocked down by 20, 30, and so we're just giving hunters a baby modded drill. Like, are we dead ass? We're just gonna be giving whole hunter, like, bro, if that's on the detention path, if that replaces something on the detention path or on the trump card path, that's actually gonna be fucking stupid. Genuinely, that's gonna be so fucking dumb. We're just giving the hunters a free modded drill, like a free baby modded. Are we serious? Are we dead ass? Just a free baby modded drill. 20, 30, and 40%. Brother, that is mercenary shell shock. That is shell shock. That's just mercenary's shell shock ability that the hunter just now gives to everyone like candy. Oh my god. Yo, Merc, yo, Merc players, you got used to the 75% shell shock. Welcome back to 90, baby. Welcome back to fucking 90. Welcome back, bro. Welcome back to 90. What the hell, bro? We're just giving the survivor, like, what? Okay, man, whatever. That's so stupid. Oh, you know who else is gonna benefit from that? Ha 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 ha! You know who else is gonna benefit from that? Ah, fucking photo, fucking Hermit. Oh my god, all these bullshit gimmick cheese hunters are gonna benefit from it. All of these fucking traits are just soft buffing hunters. Like it's not like, oh, you know, like one specific hunter can, like, you know, use this really well. Like, no, like this is general. This is just general shit that every hunter can fucking use if they so choose. Like, what? Wow. Collapse is fucking broken, man. What the hell? Control Freak. Movement speed is increased by 10% for 3 seconds from dropping from a height, cooldown 10 seconds. That beforehand was... It's the same speed and the same amount of seconds you gain the speed boost. The only thing that changes, the cooldown is now reduced from 16 seconds to 10 seconds. Next up, we have Addiction. Where is Addiction on the Persona tree? I'm trying to find it right now. Here it is. So, beforehand, Addiction... Let's read the new one, and I'll read the old one like I have been. When there are 2, 3, and 4 survivors not in a rocket chair within 24 meters, the recovery rate after being stunned or under strong control effects increases by 15, 20, and 25. When the stun is immediately when stunned, it immediately applies a slowing effect to the survivors in range for 4 seconds within a 24-meter range. The farther the distance, the greater the slowdown. Up to 20%, minimum of 10%. So every survivor now as well, every single stunning survivor now just has Brynhilder's slowdown. So addiction used to be when 2, 3, 4 moving survivors are within 24 meters of you, your recovery speed from stuns and other powerful control effects is increased by 15, 20, and 25, and reduces the slowdown effect by 10, 15, and 20, which is, relative to the amount of survivors that are in the area. So if there's one survivor, if there's two survivors in the area, it's a 15% reduce on the stun. If it's 3, then there's 20. If it's 4, there's 25. But every survivor in range of said fucking stunning shit is gonna get a whatchamacallit 4-second slowdown. And it's universal because it's separate. I'm using the basis of the sole purpose of the fact that there's a period here. This is an entirely own separate thing. If this was conjoined, then I would assume there would be a comma here, because but this is its own separate proc, like it is right here, you know. So this entire section, when stunned, it immediately applies a slowing effect to survivors in range for 4 seconds within a 24-meter range. I am assuming that is just universal. Like that is just, it doesn't, that's not restricted to this. The only thing that addiction is restricted to is the recovery rate of the being stunned. That's what's based on the survivors. This, though, however, if I'm reading this properly, unless the translations really are just fucking botched, this just means that now every single stunner, any character with a stunning ability, now you are going to get a minimum of a 10% slowdown, up to 20%. Yeah. And the cooldown is 20 seconds. Wait, why is this in red? That's its own cooldown 20 sec. What the fuck is this? Cold down. Okay, no, the translations just fucking are. The translations are just fucking shit. Oh my god. No, the translations are just actually shit. Okay, no, that's great. Yeah. This is gonna be a nuisance because this is on the trump card path, and this is right into desperate fight. Real quick, what is Brynhilder's debuff? What is her debuff? Let me see. The archer, so range towards the hunter is to do when the hunter is movement speed decreases by 15% for fight. Yeah, so every survivor just gets a Brynhilder debuff. Every single stunning survivor, if you're within 24-meter range of the hunter, which if you're stunning the hunter, you're gonna be within 24 meters, you just automatically get her built-in debuff. Oh my fucking god. That means also for Brynhilder specifically, she's also gonna have just a bigger slowdown as well. Jesus fucking Christ. What's the point of stunners? Genuinely, what's the point? What's the point of playing stunning characters and harassing characters? Like actually. What is the point of playing these characters now? Like, what is the purpose? Genuinely, what's the point of playing stunning or harassing characters now? Like, genuinely, what's the point of playing them? Like, it's gonna be a nuisance, yeah, but like, like, with all the shit that's going around, like collapse, like, and all this extra shit, what is the point of them? Like, I just don't see like what I'm gaining. I see what I'm gaining, but like the pros are not outweighing the cons for me here, genuinely, and we haven't even got into the new ones. Like, this is all the ones that are gonna be changed. We haven't even got into the new ones. Tolerance reduces the knockback effects on the hunters by 12, 22, and 32, and the slowing effect by 12, 18, and 24. We're buffing tolerance. Tolerance is on the insolence path. Tolerance would give you originally reduction in knockback effect by 8, 16, and 24, and slowdown effect by 12, 18, and 24. So they didn't change the slowdown effect, but they changed the knockback effect. So in other words, characters who have to push back the hunter, so i.e. forward, i.e. batter, now the knockback effect is going to be reduced up to 32%. which is great. 24 on Insolence Hunters was already bad enough because I have a clip posted on Twitter where I went against an Inso Detention Hermit. He had, obviously, because if he's running Insolence, he has max tolerance. The 24% knockback was enough for him to not get stunned by me using 70% of my ball. So now with 32, it's like, it's GG's, bro. Forward batter, you niggas are done. Like, they're done. Like, that's it. Like, they're actually like, yeah, like, what's the point? Like, batter and forward, like, they're gone. Like, they're dunsies. Like, that's it. Like, I never want to see motherfuckers complain about these characters again, generally. Enchantress, sure, I guess will still be have. Archer will have, like, the most minuscule of minuscule usability ever known to mankind. Like, genuinely. Like, the most minuscule shit she will have to use. Like, actually. Oh, my lord. Now we have the 4 new hunter talents. Obsession. After leaving pursuit, if there are no survivor footprints visible within your field of view, your movement speed increases by 6% for 15 seconds. This effect ends nearly if you re-enter a pursuit or spot a survivor's footprints again. Okay, sure, just a better hunter's instinct, I guess. I wonder if that'll be able to stackable depending on what part of the tree it's gonna get placed on. Next up, Overwhelm. Attack recovery speed increases by 5% for each survivor knocked down, up to a maximum of 20%. Wait a minute. Attack recovery speed increased by 5% for each survivor knocked down, up to a maximum of 20%. Is that just permanent? Genuinely, is that just fucking permanent? Because each survivor knocked down. This is not specifying anything of like, this is when, you have any. This is just each survivor knocked down increases your attack recovery speed by 5%. That better not be on the confined tree, bro. I swear to God, bro. Put that shit on Insolence or something. Oh my God, please don't let that be on the confined tree. Oh my God, please don't let that be on the fucking confined tree. Please no, bro. Please no. If that is how I think it is, and just when you down 4 survivors, you get a permanent 20% buff to your attack recovery. Hey guys, you know who's benefiting from that? You know who's the number 1 hunter that's gonna benefit from that shit? Fucking photographer. Fucking photographer. You know who else benefits from that? Any hunter that has a strong fucking camp. Naiad? Bonbon? Who else, bro? Because I'm looking at this shit. Naiad? Bonbon? Clerk, who already has a fast attack recovery. She doesn't have a camp, but her whole thing is just you hit really fucking fast and that's it. Clerk? Fucking Clown with his 50-50? Fool's Gold? Gamekeeper? That's gonna be really good for Sculptor. Even though she has a slow-ass swing speed, her fast attack recovery will make up for it. Mad Eyes? Fucking Violinist? Wax Artist. Oh my God. Disciple? Hermit? All of these hunters with Peddler? All of these hunters with strong camp? If that's what I think. So after 4 knocks, you get a fucking just a guaranteed. You just get a fucking 20% buff to your attack recovery. After 4 knockdowns. And people are going to be like, well, how are you going to get 4 knockdowns? It's not going to be hard to get 4 knockdowns, bro. It's really not. First kite. After first kite, that's 1. After second chair, that's 2. You get 10%. If you get a double down, that's going to be an if statement right there. But if you get a double down, that's 15%. And then after fourth chair, after the second chair for the survivor, that's going to be a minimum of 15%. If you got the double down, that's your 20 right there. Which means 3-man endgame. Ideally, there's 2 to 1 cipher remaining, maybe. That's a 20. That's your 20% right there. And that's not even under the assumption that these are hunters that with good camp. Because if these are hunters that good camp, this is going to be easier for them to get. Why the fuck? Oh my god. The reason I said, by the way, that I really don't want that to be on the confined path is because you know what else is on the confined path? Berserker. So, Berserker already gives 15, 20, and 25 when a survivor is placed on rocket chair. Oh my fucking Christ. Oh my lord, why? Jesus Christ, that has potential to really be stupid. That has the potential to really be fucking dumb. Holy fucking shit. Next up, Vigilance. When the first 3 Cypher machines are activated, each activation increases your movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds and pallet destroying speed by 10%. This effect can stack and is permanently lost when a survivor is placed on a rocket chair. So, in the beginning of the game, every hunter just has a 30% pallet breaking speed buff. So, every hunter just has 2 stacks in destructiveness in the beginning of the game. Huh. And then the movement speed increased by up to 15% for 10 seconds. And the pallet breaking thing, by the way, is separate because if it was both the movement speed and the pallet breaking it would have specified movement speed and pallet breaking by the relative percent for 10 seconds, but they went out their way to put pallet breaking after the movement speed 5% for 10 seconds. But obviously, you know, this is NetEase. They can always just really be horrible with fucking translations. Like, you know, cool down, you know? Then there's just the cooldown, the new talent, cooldown the talent, 20 seconds, you know? But yeah. So every hunter just has 2 stack and destructiveness for free now. In the beginning of the game. Huh. Interesting. That's great. Next up, Famine. During 60 seconds of the match, if no survivors are within 18 meters, all survivors' decoding speed is reduced by 5%. So that's countering rotation. That's great. That's countering rotation. Okay, so now every survivor just has a built-in 5% debuff in the beginning of the game. That's nice. Every character that you play, that means 9 times out of 10, Merc is going to have a 30% debuff, Wildling is going to have a 35% debuff, Weeping Clown is going to have a 20%, Knight is going to have a 25, Batter's going to have a 25, Cheerleader's going to have a 15. Every character now has a 5% debuff for the first 60 seconds of the match. Yo. These fucking hunter traits are nutty. Genuinely. A lot of these hunter traits are fucking nutty. What the hell? I really hope that the survivor traits hold up, bro. Genuinely, I do. I really hope that the survivor traits hold a candle to this shit, man. Because a lot of these hunter traits have the potential to really be fucking nutty, assuming I'm reading this properly, and it's not just like horrible mistranslations. I'm praying to God that it is now. Genuinely, I am. Now for the survivor talents. First up, Airwalk. Reduces footprint duration by 1 second. No additional signs of injury are visible when injured. Beforehand, this was just the trail disappears 1.5 and 2 seconds quicker. Sure, I guess, whatever. Nobody really runs this shit anyway, except for Explorer or some shit. Symbiotic effect. Movement speed increases by 6 to 10% when moving towards a survivor on rocket chair, with greater increases the farther away the survivor is. Beforehand, this was just the 6% movement speed. Now the 6 to 10 is a range. Symbiotic effect is fine, I guess. You know, like it's fine, but it makes you really predictable when rescuing to a certain degree because you gotta just run straight in a straight line practically towards the chair. So it makes you really predictable. But it's still fine, you know, like if you're a rescue character anyway, you have the tools to get past the hunter. It's just going to be a nuisance. Next up, Survivor's Instinct. The decoding speed is increased by 7, 20, and 40%. 40% is really fucking huge when there are 1, 2, or 3 survivors who have been eliminated. Okay, and that was beforehand. Where is it? Survivor's Instinct. The fuck? I'm trying to find this thing on this damn path. Half of these traits are so fucking worthless. Oh my fucking god, do I not know where this shit is? Here it is. There it is. It was on the airwalk path. Self-decoding speed is increased by 5, 15, and 30. So they buffed that from 5, 15, and 30 to 7, 20, and 40. The issue with Survivor's Instinct is that it's virtually fucking worthless for the most part. Like, I think if you have one stack in Survivor's Instinct, you know, that's fine. Like, you know, like, well, I mean, you can only have one stack in it anyway, so, but it's like, you have to build into Airwalk for that. Like, if you want to, you just got to derive off. And if you're building Flywheel already, like, I think Survivor's Instinct could come in clutch, I guess, if you're a rescuer, but, like, there's better traits when it comes for rescuing, because, like, you would want healing, you would want things that, you know, help you move faster to the chair, and, like, you know, don't let you as easily get hurt if you're getting cut off or something. Like, Survivor's Instinct is just a really niche trait, and it doesn't really have any immediate value when you're using it. Like, it's a prerequisite is that somebody's dead, and if somebody's dead, you're already in a losing position. And there's not many characters that would even want to take advantage of Survivor's Instincts aside from decoders, but decoders are the ones that 9 times out of 10 are getting chased, you know? So, like, all in all, like, it is a buff to the trait itself. You know, 40% again is a really massive buff. It really is. Like, 40%, like, that is fucking huge. But it's like, your prerequisite is that 3 survivors have to be fucking killed, and you already lost the match. Like, congratulations, you decode 40% faster, but you already lost. Like, ugh. Like, how fun. Next up, brewing effect. After accelerated decoding phase begins, survivors not decoding gain a 1% decoding speed boost every second up to 12%. This effect is removed after decoding for more than 10 seconds I'm sorry, did they nerf it? Did they nerf brewing effect? What? I run this trait a lot. No, okay, no, I'm tweaked. I'm just fucking tired. Okay, no, I'm tweaked. I'm just tired. Beforehand, it was just once the accelerated decoding phase begins, survivors who are not decoding. The boost used to just be 10%, now it's 12. That's practically it. So it is a buff. I was just tweaked out for a second, Jen. Like, I'm tired. Like, I was tweaked out. I don't know why I thought like it worked in the beginning of the match. Like, it never worked like that. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired. Uh, Next up, mutual support. Mutual support reveals survivors within 18 meters. You and the injured survivors who are not being pursued can see each other. I guess. But isn't that the whole purpose of pinging? Beforehand, you and the injured survivor who are not being pursued can see each other. The only thing they added is just it reveals, so I'm assuming it's just gonna be survivors within 18 meters of you if you're running mutual support will be highlighted, which is fine, I guess. But again, kind of the same thing. Like, that's the whole point of pinging. Like, I don't see the purpose in this talent. Like, the whole point of pinging is to let your teammates know where the fuck you are. Like, that's the whole that's the whole purpose. You follow the ping to find them. That is the whole purpose of the fucking ping. So it's like mutual support. All right, guys, you can see when you're within 18 meters. And then you and other injured survivors who are not being pursued can see each other. The only person who should be injured is the kiter or the rescuer, unless the hunter's doing some other shit. Like, there's nuance to the ability, but it's like, in practical application, like, what is the purpose of it? You would already be doing that by just pinging anyway. It's such a fucking worthless talent. Like, why? Next up, birdcage effect is going to replace drawbridge effect. Where is drawbridge effect? I don't even fucking know, to be honest. Like, this shit is... half of these traits just feel so worthless sometimes. Can't even lie. Yup. Okay. Drawbridge effect beforehand. Display survivors within 18 meters. So, mutual support. What the fuck? So, okay. So that's what they did. Increases movement speed by 10% and boost post-hit acceleration by 20% when in basement. So this is on the rescuer path. So they removed the effect of drawbridge effect and just added it to mutual support, and then now birdcage effect is that. So for rescuers, now you will receive a 10% movement speed and a 20% hit acceleration buff when you're heading into the basement. So making basement rescues easier. We take those. We like that. Sure. Like, sure, yeah, whatever. Like, that's fine. Next up we have Mech Elite. Where is Mech Elite? Here it is. Mech Elite. So audience effect is going to replace Mech Elite. So now audience effect is going to increase decoding speed by 8% when another survivor is on the rocket chair. This effect is permanently lost once 2 cipher machines are decoded. Beforehand, Mech Elite would just increase the scope of success of calibrations by 10% when a calibration is triggered. So it's limited to, there being 5 ciphers remaining, but like, I mean, I guess, but it's like the effect is permanently. The effect only procs when a survivor's on the rocket chair. And assuming your survivor's kiting, you're only gonna take advantage of this for like maybe 10 seconds. Like, if your survivor's competent, you're only taking advantage of this for 10 seconds. Like what? I am I crazy? Like, half of these traits just feel fucking useless. Genuinely. So far, like, half of these fucking survivor traits, they don't even feel useful. Like any practical application that you would get from them, like, it's just solved by just having a fucking working brain. Like, what? Mech Elite is like, it's gonna be a niche, like, at best. Like, I wouldn't, like, it's a trait you can bring. Like, positive 8% decoding is something, but the fact that it's limited to the first 2 ciphers of the game, and it's also restricted to a survivor being on a rocket chair, which means that if you were to want to get maximum value from Mech Elite, or what's now known as audience effect, you would need a survivor to die in 20 seconds, so you can, I guess, have that 8%. But, like, why would you want that? Like, oh no. Oh no, man. Next up, touch effect replaces self-deception. Self-deception is on the borrowed time path in the right under snooze. Touch effect is going to replace it. Touch effect. When fear decreases, immediately gain a 15, 25, and 30% movement speed buff for 1.5 seconds. If not in pursuit, this duration is extended by 3 seconds. So 15, 20, up to 35 movement speed for up to 4.5 seconds if you're not in pursuit, 1.5 if you are in pursuit. Beforehand, this would just be survivors having a 100% chance of not being detected by the hunter when shocked by the cipher machine. Level 2 talent will no longer interrupt the decoding progress when shocked by the cipher machine, and level 3 will shorten the period during which a survivor can't decode by half. So they just turned it more into a kite trait for borrow time, which is fine, I guess. The movement speed, like, that's actually somewhat useful. But I mean, it's for when fear decreases. So I don't know what's going to classify as a decrease, because they do specify if not in pursuit. So I'm assuming just if you get farther away from the hunter, I guess, which is fine. It's going to be, I guess, like a pseudo Weber's Law, or just I guess Weber's Law in itself, just a secondary one. I just don't know what they mean when they specify when fear decreases, because they do specify if not in pursuit. So we'll have to wait to test that out. But that has the potential to be good. That does actually have the potential to be a really good trait. Shelter. After rescuing a survivor from the rocket chair, self-healing and healing speed is increased by 10, 20, and 30 for 9, 120, and 150 seconds. This effect can stack. What was Shelter used to be? Where's Shelter? Was it down here? Shelter. I am blind. I don't remember where half of these things are, because the persona tree for survivors is damn near useless 90% of the time. Snooze, distraction, escape, compensate, companion, telepathy. Where the fuck is Shelter? Herd mentality. Oh, here it is. Beforehand, after saving a survivor from a rocket chair, healing speed is increased by 10, 20, and 30 for 90, 120, Oh, they just added that it's self-healing and healing speed. That's it. That was the only change. They just added self-healing to it. That's literally it. That's the only change. Okay. Next up, healing. Time to be healed by others is reduced by 15%, while injured healing progress increases by 0.3, 0.45, and 0.6 per second, up to 30, 45, and 60. Oh, okay, wait, that actually is good. Wait, that's actually a good trait. Oh my god, a fucking useful trait. Holy shit. Holy shit, a fucking useful trait. That's actually good. Because beforehand, healing was just teammates heal you 15, 20, and 25% quicker. But now, your healing progress increases by up to 0.6% per second, and it can max out up to 60% on your healing bar. And I'm assuming that's going to be passive. That's good. Yes, that's useful. That is a useful fucking trait. I will take that. I will actually take that. Yes. To get it though, you do need to build into Survivor's Instinct. So I guess, that's there, I guess, you get that 7% debuff, that 7% buff, I mean. So yeah. Next up, for final talent adjustments, we have Sneak. Where is it? It was down here, right? Yep. So Sneak, when a survivor is on the rocket chair, running within 22 meters of the rocket chair, it leaves no trail. Before they just increased this from 18 to 22%. It's the exact same trait, just now it's within 22% and not 18%. I mean 18 meters. That's 22 meters. Ah. Next up, we have the new talents. New hunter talent. Oh my god, netease, come on, man. Catharus effect. Hit acceleration duration increased by 0.3 seconds. Sure. Sensory adaptation. When a hunter destroys a pallet or vaults windows within 16 meters, the hunter's outline is revealed for 5 seconds. That is actually not bad. Because while you should be looking behind you, when you have hunters like Sculptor, for example, or you have hunters that like red light tricking or some shit, or try to vault windows, like it at least lets you know. And it's within 16 meters as well. So that means if you get distance with windows, you can use that to your advantage, and you don't need to worry too much about what the hunter's doing. The only issue is that it's restricted to destroying pallets or vaulting windows, and if the hunter's destroying a pallet or vaulting a window, you get an audio cue, and you can already hear that they're vaulting it. It's just now with this, you know what pallet or what window they're breaking if you're within 16 meters. It's a decent trait, but it's not going to be that great, like, in actuality, because half of these things, like, again, audio cues. Defense mechanism. While injured, obstacle vaulting speed is increased by 8, 12, and 16. That is what a good fucking trait looks like. That's what a good trait fucking looks like. 16? Oh, lawyer. Lawyer, you are back, baby. Baby boy lawyer, you are back. Mechanic? Oh, she has no debuff when she's kiting when she gets hit. She has no debuff on vaulting. Oh, yeah. No free TSs on a mechanic now. Oh, yeah. Defense mechanism must fucking run. Holy shit, that's amazing. That's such a good fucking trade-off. Get injured, but you get up to 16% vaulting? Hell fucking yeah. That's a great fucking trade-off. I might run that on characters in general. 16%? That's fucking amazing. Imagine that on characters with neutral fucking vaulting. Holy shit, you turn everyone into a saw. That's a good fucking trait right there. That's the best trait I've read so far. Finally, empathy. Gain 20% increase in movement speed for 6 seconds when a survivor is knocked down. This effect immediately ends if the hunter is within 20 meters. So, altruism. Just baby altruism. So that's going to be great for rescuers. That's going to be great for rescuers, actually. The effect ends immediately after if the hunter's within 20 meters, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. But for rescuers specifically, that's going to be a great trait, actually. Okay. Wait, that's two good traits, actually. I'm content with these two specifically. These two traits are actually the best traits I've seen so far. These are the best traits, like, on the survivor changes. Unfortunately, a majority of these other traits are fucking worthless. Like, 9 times out of 10. Airwalk, symbiotic effect, survivor's instinct, mutual support, like, fucking, audience effect, touch effect. A touch effect, I don't know for sure, but you know, it's a coin flip on whether it is. The only real useful traits that I can see from this is just defense mechanism, empathy, healing, because of this shit is fucking insane to me. And then where is it? Drawbridge, birdcage effect when it comes to rescuers specifically. Rowing effect was already useful as it is, which is why I'm not counting it for this. It's just now it's better compared to was because it's a 12% instead of 10%. But a lot of these survivor traits, they're just not that good. Like they're not useful in practicality. Like they're not. Compare that to the fucking hunter talents, man. 20% decode debuff. You don't lose hunt after vaulting. Fucking fucking decreasing self heal speed, giving the hunters a baby modded drill, 20% attack recovery. That's just stackable. Fucking every stunner now just gets a 10 up to a minimum 10% slowdown. Like this shit is like so much shit. Like every hunter now just has 2-stack destructiveness built in. Every survivor now has a -5% on their decoding. Like the hunter talents are just so much fucking better compared to the survivor talents. Like some of the survivor talents, I'm not denying that they're good, but like compared to the hunter talents, man, like this shit is fucking crazy. Like damn near every hunter just got soft buffed. Like the only trait on the survivors that's like a soft buff to all survivors is defense mechanism, and that's and that's only when we know. Like with holding off final judgments for this, like on like how I truly feel, is just we don't know what path the bottom fours are gonna be on. These ones we already know, obviously, so we already know what we're gonna build into. If this builds into the confined path, I swear to God, we're camping hunters are gonna have a fucking field day. Genuinely, camping hunters are gonna have a fucking field day if this builds up into the confined path. Like this is fucking insane. Like actually, the only saving grace is like if this were to build into like the Windows path. I guess like if this builds into Windows or borrowed time, that's like best case scenario for this. If this builds into Tide, then it's like virtually kind of worthless. I'm not gonna lie, because to have to build into Tide for a kiter is like not the greatest. I think the obvious thing though is I'm kind of disappointed with the survivor talent adjustments. I really wish one of these things included that self heal would just be built in. I still don't understand why self heal is a thing that we need to pick when the hunters have built in tinnitus. Like if they can have built in tinnitus, I can have built in self heal. I don't understand it. I don't know why I have to build into self heal to get self heal. Genuinely speaking, I don't. All in all, that's gonna be it for the hunter changes, for the balance changes. I'm disappointed with the Archer nerfs and the Meteor nerfs. I really don't think they needed nerfs. I am disappointed a tad bit when it comes to the survivor talents. There are some really good talents there, though. You know, empathy and defense mechanism. But the hunter talents, man, like that shit is gonna rain havoc. That shit is genuinely gonna rain fucking havoc, man. Like a lot of those talents, man. Holy fucking shit. Let me know how you guys feel about the adjustments. This is a very long fucking video. I didn't expect it to go on for this long, but you guys know how I am. I'm a yapper. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the yap session. Thank y'all for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Subscribe. Peace.